I got the idea for Pirate's Heart when I read a book called Island of Lost Maps by Miles Harvey. And it was a book about this guy who would go into libraries and ask to see these really rare books, and then he'd take an X-Acto knife and he'd slice these maps out of these books and sell them. And that made me so angry. I just couldn't believe that somebody would do that. And then I heard about another guy that was doing it, but he was using dental floss. Put the dental floss in your mouth, and when you get your book, you take it out, you stretch it over, and close the book, and then the moisture loosens the paper. And then they pull this rare map out and sell it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I thought, if I was a librarian, I would want to kill whoever did that. And so that's kind of where the idea started, and that's where Emma, the librarian, came from. And she needed a map to worry about. So I thought, well, what better map than a treasure map? And if you have a treasure map, you need a pirate. And so I wanted a strong female pirate, and that's where Thomasina Ferris came from. So it all started with that book I read about that map thief. Sometimes I really struggle with character development because I'm really into plot, and I love kind of figuring out what's going to happen next and the whole rise and fall of action. But when it comes to characters, it takes me a while to sort of figure out who they are. And I know some people, they do like pages and pages of backstory. Like the character went to this high school and loves these things, and this is their favorite color. But I don't work that way. I just don't really care about all that stuff. What I want to know is what she's like now, what she's interested in, how is she going to react if this happens to her. Because basically, writing a novel with characters is like putting them in a little maze and putting things in front of them and seeing how they react. So you do have to get to know your character, and one of the best ways to do that is just start writing and put them in situations and see how they react. But with A Pirate's Heart, I was really struggling with Emma. I just couldn't connect with her. I didn't know what the problem was. So I started, actually I just went to my bookshelf and I started scanning. I buy a lot of nonfiction books that I may have no reason to buy them, but I just think, oh, maybe I'll need that someday. And a couple of years ago, I had found a book for $1 on the history of jigsaw puzzles. And they had lots of photographs. Apparently in the 30s and 40s, jigsaw puzzles were really big. And a lot of artists would have their artwork put on the puzzles. So I'm flipping through this book. And so I already had Emma. I already knew there was going to be a pirate and a treasure map. I'm flipping through the book, and I come to a whole section of puzzles of women pirates. And they're sort of, 40s looking. They've got rosy cheeks, and they're, beautiful. They're not really scary. They're not really tough. But I thought, that's what Emma does. She collects jigsaw puzzles, antique jigsaw puzzles, and she really likes the puzzles of the women pirates. So that really helped me sort of, okay, that's who Emma is. And that, once I've got that, then I can get to know her better. It's just finding that one little piece that makes her interesting. I didn't need that kind of connection with the others because I knew them better. It was just Emma I was really struggling with. Tommy, I knew she'd have her ship, she'd have her men, but sometimes you don't know who the characters are until you get to the end of the book, which is really frustrating, because then you have to go back to the beginning and sort of rewrite them based on what you know.